Hey, how y'all doing? It's your main man, OD, coming to you from Tuckpool again. How you doing? I'm with my main man, Dr. Tommy Dog. How you doing, T?
Man, doing good, man. How you doing, man? Can't complain, man. How you doing?
I'm doing well. We got a real good show for y'all today. We got a couple topics we want to get to. We want to start off talking about this college football playoff bracket. Then we're going to get into our thoughts on Sheduer Sanders. And then we're going to have a quick discussion about the rookie of the year. But first and foremost, let's start off with this college football playoff bracket we have right now. The seeding. Do we have any teams that were left out? Who we think should be in there? Who we think shouldn't be in there? Why don't you start that off, Tommy Dog?
Well, looking at this bracket, we had a pretty good bracket here. The top four seeds: Indiana, Ohio State, Georgia, Texas Tech. No surprises there. Those four teams played well, especially Indiana. Came through with a big win against Ohio State, a defensive game. Ohio State still stayed at number two. Georgia, nice win against Alabama to close out to get the number three spot, and then Texas Tech did what they needed to do and won their game against BYU. The rest of the playoff season, we're gonna go through it real quick. You got five Oregon, six Ole Miss. Ole Miss should be in there. Uh, we got Texas A&M, Oklahoma, Alabama, and then we got rounding it out. We got Miami, Tulane, and then of course JMU. A lot of people are upset about that one, but I think it's a pretty good playoff bracket we got looking at here. I think there are going to be some surprises, but looking at it, man, I don't have any complaints about it. People are, of course, upset about Notre Dame not being in it, but in my opinion, I didn't think they deserved to be in it. I know you fighting Irish fans are going to be upset about that, but they didn't deserve to be in there, in my opinion. They lost games they shouldn't lost in the season, and then they did a kitty move by bowing out their bowl game, which I thought was just unprofessional and just plain disrespectful to the game. But of course, hey, this is why you're not in it. You're not,
Right.
in the Independence Conference. It's only you and UConn in that conference. You don't really play any good teams. And now that you bowed out the bowl game, there's team, and then also that new rule they put in for Notre Dame that they'll automatically qualify as long as in the top 12 ranking. There's teams that are talking about not even scheduling Notre Dame going forward because of that particular rule. You get what you get, man.
Right.
It's I don't think it's unfortunate. I think the teams that are in there should be in there. A lot of people are upset about James Madison being in there. But look, they did what they need to do. They have the record to back it up. Um, and you just can't get mad about that. Notre Dame, play better, move to different conference. I think the ACC. I mean, your basketball team's already in the ACC. Move to the ACC. You know, play some real
Right.
teams. At least a better competition you're playing in now. You can't get mad at the playoff committee based off of who you played and how the dice roll, man. So I mean, OD, that's what I got on
Man, I 1000% agree with you. Like I said, like you said, and I'm gonna echo that sentiment. A lot of people were upset about Notre Dame not making it, especially because they were ranked in the top 12 before the playoff brackets were officially announced. I don't have a big problem with that for the simple fact that Notre Dame, while they did play Texas Tech and Miami early in the season, and they beat USC. Number one, anyone who watched USC this year, and I'm a big USC fan, can tell you this USC team, like all Lincoln Riley teams, especially since he's been at USC, it wasn't a very physical team. They have talent, a lot of young talent. I think they're going to be good in the future, but this definitely wasn't their year. So I believe that USC win and beating Navy, I believe, are their only ranked wins this season, which is absolutely pathetic considering they can
it,
pick their
man. Correct.
entire new schedule on their own. And I know people won't like to point to the fact that They lost to Miami close, and it was week one. But again, it was week one. You were in Miami, and you lost close to Carson Beck. Carson Beck, who was giving away games this year, he was trying to give away games. If it wasn't for that Miami defense
Right.
being good and Ruben Bain just being an absolute animal, then Miami wouldn't have finished this season 10-2. Um, Carson Beck would have made sure that they finished 8-4 at best and looked like LSU 2.0. But yeah, to me, Tulane definitely deserved to be in. James Madison, I don't know about all that. Like we talked about last week. To be honest with you, I would have preferred Duke over James Madison. James Madison, like at least Tulane played Ole Miss. People like to point to the fact that Ole Miss smoked them, but at least they played them and they scheduled them. Like Tulane plays and schedules tough teams and tough opponents. Tulane has ranked wins on its resume, plural. James Madison don't have that. They just won a piss
Hmm.
poor conference. Now, granted, they did smoke the conference championship game, but that doesn't mean they deserve to be in. Give them a big bowl game. Matter of fact, you could have put them in there in the Cheez-It Bowl against Texas, but instead y'all wanted to give them a handout, and that's the only part I don't like. Now, again, I don't have a problem with um, Notre Dame not being in there. I do have a problem with James Madison being in there, but just simply because I'm pretty sure we all know the end result of what James Madison is going to go through. Like at least with Tulane versus Ole Miss,
Yeah,
we can
Buzzsaw.
all see like, okay, Ole Miss is a better team, but they're going through controversy. They lost their head coach, who they won't even let coach this team. Although Tulane lost their head coach, but they're letting them coach their team. Tulane's motivated because they want to play well. They've played Ole Miss, I think, the last 3 seasons to open the season, the last 3 years to open the season. So I think Tulane knows Ole Miss intimately. While I do expect Ole Miss to win and win handily, I think the game, in my opinion, will be closer than what people think. And looking at James Madison, number one, they're traveling across the country to play the Oregon Ducks, who are going to be chomping at the bit because they didn't make the conference championship game again this year. Their one loss was to an Indiana team who had a tough win against Ohio State. And I think Oregon's looking to just dog walk and throw James Madison in the mud and choke him out. Although Oregon is pretty young and Dante Moore likes to throw the ball away. So I think if James Madison can keep it close, then they'll only lose by 3 touchdowns in the fourth quarter. But anyway, yeah. But
Yeah,
to
most
offer
definitely.
an
I mean,
alternative,
I agree with you. No,
yeah, but to offer an alternative, and I'll wrap it up right here to what some people think, I would have replaced James Madison personally with either Duke or with Vanderbilt. I know, Vanderbilt is Vanderbilt,
I would go
but
with
they finished
Vanderbilt.
10-2.
Yes.
Right. They had what, 3 ranked wins this year. They beat snot down Tennessee's leg to end the year. Diego Pavia was in the Heisman race, and he lost the Heisman, although I thought he should have won it over Fernando Mendoza. Fernando Mendoza was in a easy conference and didn't have to win any big games, but whatever. We all know how politics work in this sport. Um, but yeah, those are my final
Of
thoughts on the
course.
college football playoff bracket. Tangentially, before the playoffs start next week, what do you got? Who's your early team that you have winning?
Well, I'll say this. I'm gonna call it like this here. In terms of Alabama and Oklahoma, I really think that Alabama's going to pull that out. You know, a lot of people. I've seen pundits picking Oklahoma in that matchup. You know, and I'm not too sure how they're going to deal with Alabama, but we shall see. And I also got Texas A&M beating Miami, just like you mentioned earlier about Carson Beck. You know, this is a guy who's a turnover machine at times, especially in the bright lights. We saw when he was with Georgia, which is why he transferred out of Georgia, because he couldn't handle the pressure. You know, he got paid from Miami. Miami thought, look, they got to the playoffs. Good for them. But I don't trust Carson Beck I don't think that he's a guy that trust. But at the same time, again, I think Texas A&M is going to win that matchup. Ole Miss Tulane, I think is going to be close as well. But I do
Right.
think that Ole Miss they may pull it out. But at the same time, I wouldn't be surprised at the upset of Tulane. But I'm going to go ahead and pick Ole Miss in that matchup. And of course, I'm going to go with Oregon. Um, I would have preferred Vanderbilt. You got to think about Vanderbilt. They beat um, they beat several a few ranked teams in their schedule. They beat LSU. Okay, they beat South Carolina. They beat Missouri.
Right.
They beat Tennessee.
Right.
All those teams were ranked teams in the top 25. So I think that they're 10-2. I do agree with you there. Um, and if you look at James Madison, they didn't play not one ranked opponent in that in their schedule. A bunch of teams that if I name them to you, you're gonna say who the hell playing that? But so I do agree with you there. But those are my picks for the first round of the playoffs. I do think that you're going to see Oregon advance, Alabama, Texas A&M, and Ole Miss. What about you?
My first round matchups, I have. I'm gonna pick the upset, and I'm gonna pick Tulane to win. Um, I just feel good about John Summerall coming back. That team has a lot of camaraderie. It's not been a bunch of controversy around everything and petty swipes between the former coach and the former and the current AD and the players and all types of other stuff and recruits decommitting. There's a lot of synergy at Tulane, so I'm picking them to win that game. Alabama and the Oklahoma Sooners, that's going to be a terrible game. The loser of that game is going to be everybody who watched it because we're going to watch absolutely terrible football because Oklahoma, Oklahoma can play great defense. Alabama can't stop the pass rush. This is setting up to be a 10-13 game, or it might be reminiscent of
Yeah.
the game of the century 2011 with Alabama versus LSU, except it's not just excellent defense, it's just god awful offense. But I mean,
Right. Is
if
who's
you're gonna put
playing
my
not to
feet to the
lose?
right, if you're gonna put my feet to the fire, I think I'm gonna take Alabama to win that game just because I think they have a couple more playmakers on offense, and I believe in Ty Simpson more than John Mateer because he is just waiting to give the ball in the game away in crucial situations. I have the Oregon Ducks beating snot down James Madison's neck. I have them winning 56-7, maybe 56 to 10 if they feel like taking their foot off their neck late in the game. And Miami and
Mm.
Texas A&M, I think is going to have the best game of the weekend. And in that matchup, I think I'm going to take Miami. I'm going to take Miami. Um, Tooney is a problem. He's a young dude. He's explosive. He's quick. He's a weapon in not only the passing game, he's a weapon in the running game. He's a weapon in special teams. And I think I just think that young cat is awesome. And I also think that Texas A&M they play to the level of their opponents, which is a good and bad thing. Because I heard their starting right tackle make a few comments this week about Ruben Bain saying he hasn't watched film on him, but he's sure they can block him. I don't like the fact that Texas A&M is underestimating Miami, even though Carson Beck is Carson Beck. That Texas A&M defense is not good enough to take advantage of that. So I got Miami going into the 12th man and taking the win. But for my overall champion this year, I think I'm gonna take the Georgia Bulldogs. I think Kirby Smart is in his
Yeah.
prime, mean, they're a lean machine, and they're getting arrested at the right time of the year. So I
Oh
think
yeah.
I'm gonna
Most
pick them.
definitely. Most definitely.
Exactly. They've already had 3 players arrested since the end of the season.
Hmm.
Absolutely, I have the Georgia Bulldogs winning. Um, so
Yeah.
transitioning to our next topic, talking about the
And just
boy
yeah. I'm
itself
sorry. Go ahead. Oh, just
and
just 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 to just to just to piggyback off you real quick, Od. Miami and Texas A&M. Miami lost to Texas A&M only by 1 point early in the season, 41-40. So they know each other well. They know how to play each other. That was a high scoring affair, and I do think Miami can. They're going to go back and look at that tape and see where they can exploit those weaknesses in Texas A&M. We saw that Marcel Reed. He's a guy. You force him to have to sit back and throw the ball. If he's not able to use his legs, that could be an issue for them. We saw that against Texas when Texas A&M played Texas. They made him be a pocket passer. He was not able to run the ball, and that offense was only able to put up 16 points. So it comes down to if Miami can bracket him, you go in a wide nine formation, get the defensive ends to set the edge, and make him have to throw the football. You're correct. Like I said, I did pick Texas A&M to win that game, but I would not be surprised by the upset.
Right. Now, transition to our next topic, we have what I call Sheduer's Allure slash Fool's Gold. And I call it that topic because I think a lot of people looked at that last game they played against the Tennessee Titans and they told themselves, well, Shador went out there, he threw for almost 400 yards, accounted for 4 touchdowns himself. And the only thing that kept the Browns from winning that game was Kevin Stefanski taking Shador out at the end of the game for a 2 point conversion. But in my opinion, if you actually watch that game, Shador Sanders, one, still held on to the ball too long. That Titans defense is still very young. The pass rush didn't get to him as well because they called a lot more pass protect. Kudos to Kevin Stefanski. And on that 2 point conversion, it would have been successful if, in my opinion, the player who was handling the ball right at the snap had handled it a bit more coming out into the season. But I'm going to give it to you, AD, because you seem primed and ready to go off about this topic earlier. AD, it's on you, baby.
Well, man, it's the situation where we've heard so much about this guy. Look, I have nothing personally against him. I don't even know the guy. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Hello? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Go ahead. Hello? AD, you might as well go ahead,
Hello.
brother. I can hear you. Just go ahead. Just roll on.
Okay, good. Thank you. Look, I have nothing against the guy at all. Yeah. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you. I told you, just keep
I
rolling.
was just saying, I have nothing against the guy at all. He, had a pretty decent career in college. I'm rolling. I'm rolling. Look, he had a pretty decent career in college, and nothing against the guy, but there's a reason he was a fifth round pick. Everybody can sit up here and talk about, oh, he should be a first round pick. But if we look at the stats here, you know, this guy, he's played against, he played a couple games so far in the NFL, and they're taking the Tennessee Titan game and they're just magnifying and blowing it up like that. Like he played one of the top teams in the league. The Tennessee Titans are ranked 30th in points allowed. They're ranked 26th in yards per play, and the only thing they have going for them their run defense. Other than that, their total defense is a 26th ranked defense in the league, and they're one of the younger defenses in the league as well. You can't sit up here and tell me that. Look, he played against the 49ers, who has a better, substantially better defense, who's ranked eighth in points allowed. They only put up 8 points. How ironic. Eighth in points allowed, and they only put up 8 points. The problem that we have here with Shador Sanders is we have a community, a group of people. We're not talking about any type of race of people. We have a community of people here who, just because he's Dion's son, if his name was Nolan Smith or Nolan Ryan or whatever case may be, if his last name was not Sanders, we wouldn't even talk about this guy. He's a guy who we're going to sit up here and talk about because of who his daddy is. I look. I think Deion Sanders is one of the all-time greats. He was a great cornerback, etc. All-time great. He earned his Hall of Fame. But this guy, as much as I kept hearing about how he was being blackballed, how the coach didn't like him, why would a coach not play a player who he thinks can win him the games? The whole point of of being
Right.
an NFL head coach, you gotta win games to keep your damn job. This is point of the game. Why would I sit up here and say, well, you know what? I got a star on the bench. Let me keep him on the bench because I don't like him because he's Deion Sanders' son. That makes absolutely no sense at all. The guy is, to me, overrated. It's quite simple. He does the celebrations, no problem with that. But you got to put the product on the field. When we looked at him playing against the 49ers, and he only threw for 149 yards, took 3 sacks, I believe he only threw for 1 touchdown. Everybody started blaming Kevin Stefanski for the play caller. Then he goes against the Tennessee Titans, who they're on the opposite side of it. Cam Ward was under duress the whole game and still made good throws. Now his receivers didn't catch the ball because he doesn't have a number one receiver. And people will say, well, Atomic Dog neither does Sheduer Sanders. He has a better receiving corps than Cam Ward. This is not even debatable. Now,
Facts.
this guy is talked about like he's the second coming of Tom Brady. He is not. He may wear the same number, but he's nowhere near close to Tom Brady. He backs up in the pocket too much. He holds on to the ball too long. He sits up there and he doesn't go through all his reads. If the first read is not there, he's looking to he puts his head down and he doesn't keep his eyes up going up, watching for the next level and keeping the play alive. He likes to scramble, but he's not that athletic. He likes to go. He is not what everybody thinks he is. And I think here we are coming up next week, or this Sunday, tomorrow. He's going to play the Chicago Bears. And we know that defense is opportunistic. They're led by Dennis Allen. They get turnovers. They get pressure on the quarterback. I can already hear it now. They're going to blame the offensive line and it's Kevin Stefanski if he throws for 2, 3 interceptions, what I am predicting. That he's going to throw at least
Mm.
2 picks. And it's going to be right back to when they played the 49ers. It's going to be a bunch of excuses. It's going to be the blame game. And they're going to sit up there and say, well, he doesn't have the talent around him. Dylan Gabriel had the same damn team. He had the same damn team. And I didn't hear any of the excuses for Dylan Gabriel. All I heard was, oh, well, he wasn't that good. He had a better college career than Shedeur Sanders. Shedeur Sanders played 2 years at HBCU. They never won. They never won the SWAC.
Nope. No, they did not.
Then he goes to Colorado, and when it came time to play a bowl game, they didn't win. They got beat down. They didn't do anything in that bowl game. They sat up there and they got beat down. And people gonna say, well, look at his stats. Look at his stats. The stats, you have to play winning football. And it comes down to one simple thing. Is he a winner? I don't think so. You're gonna go back to college. Oh, well, he did this in college. That's college now. Because it's funny to me that people sit up there and say, "Well, he did this and that in college. He went 11-2 twice at HBCU. He took Colorado. They went 13-12 in his time there. He made Colorado relevant again. They retired his jersey. I could look at Dylan Gabriel and say that he was winning in college, but he was in the Heisman race when he was playing. Was Shedeur Sanders in the Heisman race? Hell no. His teammate was Travis Hunter, and we'll get more to him later. But the thing is, let's not be blinded, folks, because the same way all this praise, it was the same people tearing down Jamarcus Russell, who had better numbers throughout his rookie. He's one of the biggest busts in NFL history. They did not give Jamarcus Russell the same grace and support that they're giving this guy. Why? Because Jamarcus Russell doesn't have a dad that played in the NFL who was a Hall of Famer that everybody likes. He didn't have that. This guy does. And so there's always going to be it's always going to be bracketed with the whole thing of, well, he has to get a chance. Well, y'all hating on him. Let me tell you something. And this is the last thing I'm gonna say. I'm gonna give it to you, OD. Critiquing a player is not hate. That's something that this new generation needs to understand. When you critique a player, it doesn't mean you hate the player. It's critiquing him.
At all.
I think it's so funny with fans when they sit up there and say they could give all these critiques about other players, but when it comes to a player they like a guy like Shedeur Sanders, like a guy like LeBron James, like a guy shit, at one point like Tom Brady, when you were critiquing critique Tom Brady and say that, well, the first 3 years of his career, he had a great defense, and he always had a great defense when he played for the Patriots. People said you hated him. Now I'm not saying he's nowhere near close Tom Brady, and I'll say that again. But fans, listeners, y'all have to understand the difference between hating a person and critiquing a person. These are critiques. Do I think he could be a serviceable player? Sure. Do I think he's a superstar level player everybody thinks he is? Hell no. And that's just a point fact, period. Because if he was a superstar player, he would have went in the first 3 rounds. He did not. There's not one coach or GM or owner that they saw superstar talent in this guy or any player, period, just take it off of him. They would say, you know what? Nah, we ain't gonna pick that because I don't like him personally. He went to the draft combine. He bombed his interviews. He was cocky and arrogant. And I hate when look. People always say, well, when a black man's confident, they call that arrogance. But when the counterpart is confident, they call that being focused and just being confident. They don't call it arrogance. They call it two different things. Nobody's trying to make this a race issue. I mean, except the fans. But at the end of the day, and at the top of the morning, he is who he is. He's a fifth round pick. He got grace and mercy because who his dad is. And I think if he wasn't Dion's son, he would have went undrafted. And that's my point.
Well, I'll say this. One, I think if he wasn't Dion's son, he wouldn't be holding this level of arrogance that he holds about himself. So I'll uh I'll say that for one. For two, man, Shador is eh, Shador's a good quarterback. I think he can be a starter in the league later on in his career. But people act like that one game against literally the worst team in the NFL proves that he should have been a first round pick. If you go back and look at that game, because people always try to equate 1 to 1, and they say, oh, Cam Ward didn't throw for 200 yards or 150 yards, ergo, that means he wasn't good enough to be the number one overall pick. And because Shador did, he was. For one, Shador's weapons, as you stated before, Jerry Judy, former first round pick, still very explosive, still very talented route runner who gets open very often. David Njoku, a Pro Bowl level tight end. Dylan Sampson and Quinshawn Judkins are very good rookie running backs who both made plays in the passing and running games this year. A Browns offensive line that's very underrated. Shador just has a lot more weapons, a lot more to work with. A primarily offensive play calling head coach who his function as a play caller on the offense he calls, he tries to limit balls thrown down the field and turnovers. That is the reason why Shador never got a fair shake, and according to some people, and the reason he did not want him to start over Dylan Gabriel because Shador standards held onto the ball too long and put the ball in danger too many times. So it's easy if you analyze football and stop just analyzing the person and the journey. And because you saw them from a child growing up, because his father was a famous person, and just admit the dude got picked where he got picked because he deserved to be picked there, didn't win at an outstanding level. And even when he transferred from the SWAC into a P4 conference in the Big 12 to Colorado, I know people love to say that team was 1-10. With the advent of the transfer portal, you can have an entirely new team, which they literally did that offseason. With the way that Deion Sanders can recruit at high school, which you saw, he got 2 5-star players to commit to him at Colorado, which is crazy for that program in the last 25 years. They still didn't win at a high rate. Sure, they had one regular season where they went 9-3, but then they just went to a bowl game against BYU and got the absolute piss beat out of them. They got embarrassed. And Shador Sanders had Travis Hunter,
Yep.
who I can talk about later. didn't really deserve to be the number 3 overall pick because he didn't have that level of talent and wasn't that skilled or good at corner or receiver to be picked that high. Um, but he had Travis Hunter, he had Jimmy Horn Jr., he had 2 or 3 other receivers who everyone told me was talented and they were all going to get to the NFL and they were all going to make plays and they were all going to play great. And now that we're looking at them, they're just okay-ish, I guess. So this Sheduer Allure, in my opinion, is nothing but fool's gold. And if you look at everything that happened, if you look at the games that were played and how he reacted and how the game unfolded, sure, he played well. He made the plays that were there. But one, he still put the ball in harm's way a lot. Two, he still held on to the ball. Three, he still does not even know how to call his own protections. Why do you think the coach didn't put him in the game? I rest my case. Um,
Exactly.
you got anything else on this topic, brother?
I mean, there's really nothing else to say. I mean, I think it was, beautifully said by you. And again, like he has a tough slate coming up. I'll just say this real quick. Looking at their schedule coming up. Like I said already, they're gonna play the Bears next week. I mean this Sunday. Excuse me. I keep saying next week. They're gonna play the Bears this Sunday. Then they got to play the Bills, Steelers, and then the Bengals. Now the Bengals, of course, he may put up some decent numbers if he doesn't get benched. But you got a tough slate coming up. So all those fans and supporters that are huge supporters we'll see how it goes toward for the rest of the season. But if he does not do well,
Right.
I don't want to hear that crying later on. That's all I'm saying. Say them tears for your mama. Cause over here at the Tuck Rule podcast, we ain't going for it. I don't want to hear that crying. He go cry to his daddy. But say them tears for your mama.
Exactly. Over here at TFS, you get the crybaby antics. I don't want to hear about all the quote unquote hardships you had to have and all this other crap you had to go through. Dude, you came out, you got in a pretty good situation with the Cleveland Browns. You got a primary offensive play calling head coach who needs to keep his job. And the best that you could do is lose out in training camp and lose out in preseason to Dylan Gabriel and Joe Flacco. Get out of my face. Like, I don't even want to hear it because any play caller worth his salt, and I'm going to say this and I'm going to be done with this. Any play caller worth his salt, if they would have seen how good a rookie quarterback was, regardless of where they were drafted, they would have given him a fair shake, i.e., Brock Purdy
Exactly.
and Kyle Shanahan of the San Francisco 49ers. So that's all I
Exactly.
have to say. Like, dude was literally picked as Mr. Irrelevant. You hear people running around here saying Brock Purdy wasn't drafted where he needed to be drafted. No. And you know what? He actually won some games at Iowa State. He wasn't a bad quarterback there. But you know what he wasn't? He didn't have a prolific arm. He wasn't exceptionally accurate. He wasn't an exceptional winner. And he played in obscurity for a team that wasn't a primarily big time passing team that wasn't trying to go down the field. So it's understandable if you look at his circumstances and look at the fact that he does not have prototypical NFL size and arm strength as to why he got drafted where he got drafted.
Speaks for itself.
Perfect. Now,
Speaks for itself. And and,
transferring to
and with Brock Purdy, that's another thing.
transferring to this next topic, and the last topic we're gonna have a quick discussion about who's been the best rookie quarterback so far, and who do we have as rookie of the year on offense and defense. And big dog, who you got? What do you think has been the best
Well, I
rookie
mean,
quarterback?
to speak to the quarterback situation, rookie quarterback situation. Well, the best rookie quarterback to me, overall is going to be to me Jackson Dart. Um, I, what he bought explosive. Bought some to the Giants. He bought a new swag to the Giants. He opened up the offense with his ability to not only throw the ball pretty good, but also run the ball. He bought a different type of feel to that Giants offense. I think that going forward, going to be a pretty good quarterback. Um, I think they need to continue to
Right.
build around him. I mean, you got to understand something. He was missing Malik Neighbors, a big time
Right.
target for the Giants. And I also believe that they're going to continue to build around him. I hope they do. To get a solid number two, and build around that. Get a better running game and go from there. I mean, you got Cam Scuttleboo in the backfield. He's not too bad, but you need a true you need a running back that's a little faster. Cam Scatterboo could be a nice power back, but that's another topic. But second on that list, I'm gonna stick with Cam Ward. I think Cam Ward, even though the win loss column doesn't show it, the line he needs help in the skill position areas,
Right.
but the talent has shown. You saw it from the talent that you saw in Miami. You see here in Tennessee. You see why you see the flashes of why he was the number one overall pick, and I don't think that changed anything. If you do a redraft again, I'm still going with Cam Ward, the number one spot. And thirdly, I'm gonna say a name that I know you're not gonna agree with, but Tyler Shuck, you know,
Get the
to me has
fuck.
shown some things. Now, if he was
No.
24 years old,
No. No.
cool. But the guy's 26 years old. Again, I know you disagree, but if he was 23, 24, you know, and he was doing the things he was doing, you would say, okay. At least I would say, okay, great. But I had to go with Tyler Shuck because if you look at this draft class, not many other the rookies are playing at quarterback. I mean, Will Howard never played. The guy from Alabama, he didn't play this season. So Jalen Milroe, that's his name. Excuse me, sorry about that. But all the other quarterbacks that were drafted, I mean, Dylan Gabriel had some times out there. Go ahead. Oh, sorry. Dylan Gabriel
No.
had
I
some
say
time
no.
out there. I think that his grade is inconclusive. His grade is inconclusive. Um, And then there's Sheduer Sanders. He's played what 2, 3 games. I really can't say too much about him. He did well against the Titans. Pretty much been up and down this whole season. And so that's my picks for the top quarterbacks. But if we talk about the offensive side, offensive rookie of the year,
Man. Man.
to
Let
me
me
it's
stop
going
you
to
right
be a
there,
tie
dog. Because
between. Go ahead.
man, look here, bro. It's Tyler Shaw stuff. Y'all Saints fans got to stop this
Go ahead.
nonsense, dog. This man is a 54-year-old rookie quarterback, and y'all think he's supposed to be impressive to me? This man ran around here at 78 years old, fought in World War II, and y'all think that's supposed to be impressive to me what he did, bro? Man, get out of here, dog. Dude, 856 years old, and you think I'm supposed to be sitting
Man,
up
you
here
just
looking at him like I'm supposed to be impressed? What's wrong with you, bro? What's wrong with you? I thought you knew better than this. You looked at this sorry SOS and you said, man, yeah, that's a good rookie right there. Dude, seasoned. Yeah, because he's been around since the Stone Ages, brother. He been seasoned, weather beaten, storm beaten. He was around when Moses parted the Red Sea. He was around when Abraham got on the boat with the two animals. He hid in the bottom of the ship. And you sit up there and made him the rookie quarterback. Man, get out of my face with this nonsense, dog. Like I
Well, man,
can't.
you asked a question, man. I gotta give you an answer, brother. That's the only quarterbacks
Look,
that's
bro,
playing.
I don't care what man. I'll name somebody who been Walker Howard. Yep, I'll name what he been watching Aaron Rodgers. I'll take Walker Howard over Tyler Shaw. I'll
See,
take
you
who
can't even get you can't even get the brother name right. He's so irrelevant. You can't. His name is Will Howard. So you calling him Walker Howard. So you didn't rename the brother. See, that's what I'm saying, brother. He's so irrelevant. We don't even
look
know
here.
what he doing
Hey,
over there.
look
He
here.
probably,
Look here.
what I'm saying,
Hey,
all he doing is carrying pads.
I'm good with that. Well, he carried pants good as hell, boy. That's all I got to say. You can kick rocks with all that nonsense. But personally,
Yeah, all
my
right,
top
man.
three
See,
quarter
yeah, go ahead.
personally, my top three rookie quarterbacks. I agree with you. At one is Jackson Dart. He gives that team a spark. He has a really good arm. Who shows he's shown flashes of athleticism. My problem is he has that Jaden Daniels syndrome, in which he don't know how to get down and take so many big hits. The problem is that he doesn't have Jaden Daniels' talent. Sorry, not sorry. Um, but I'll also say this about Jackson Dart. He's in the perfect market for his bravado, his brashness, and he has a star receiver next year when Malik Neighbors gets healthy. Hopefully, the brother comes back healthy. Um, but my second rookie quarterback is Cameron Ward. I know what everyone says. He hasn't even thrown for 200 yards in a game this season. He only has 9 touchdowns. Blah 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 blah. Number one, if you look at a lot of these games and you break down film, he's a very he has spotty accuracy, but he also has to deliver a lot of tough throws under pressure, which is something I can't say the other rookie quarterbacks have had to do, especially on a consistent basis. He also is playing on the worst team with the worst playmakers. Like, I, do we even know who his number one receivers are with the Tennessee Titans? Now, granted, I know what everyone's going to say. He's a rookie quarterback. When you get drafted one number one overall, that's what you have to deal with. Blah 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 blah. But if this was y'all fave, quote unquote, Shedeur Sanders, and you had to deal with, y'all will be mad saying, "How are y'all expecting to work with this? He don't have the weapons, all this other crap." I don't care. Cam Ward's looked good. If you break down his film, he's delivered big throws. Those receivers drop everything that isn't a white girl at a frat party. Um, and so to me, Cam Ward is the second best rookie quarterback. And to me, third on the list of rookie quarterbacks this year, it is it's a tie. And the tie is between Shedeur Sanders, Dylan Gabriel, and honorable mention is incomplete because this list of rookie quarterbacks is incomplete because this class overall has not been good. Like it's not a good
Hot,
quarterback class at all. If you needed a quarterback,
hot
you should
garbage.
have
Just call it
made
for what it is. Hot garbage.
it's
Hot
hot garbage.
garbage.
Yeah,
They wouldn't
it
even.
is.
It would.
It's
They
absolutely
would.
hot garbage.
Beside the top two, the rest of them dudes would have went undrafted. Any other year, they went undrafted. We know this both. We both know this. Hot garbage. Garbage. Hot garbage.
Bro. But yeah, those are my top three rookie quarterbacks. Who do you who do you have as rookie of the year so far on offense and defense?
Well, to me, offensively, it goes between Emeka Mbuka and also McMillan for the Panthers. These two guys, they're creeping closer to the top receiving yards. Been instrumental in their team's success. They've done a great job in playing in the slot and on the outside. Um, Mbuka mostly plays in the slot, but with Mike Evans getting hurt and Chris Godwin with his injury history up and down, he's played on the outside in the slot. He's done well. Um, he's a rookie. He has some, inconsistent games here and there. But McMillan has shown that he can, be the number one receiver for the Panthers. Um, Big physical guy. I think he's been a safety blanket for Bryce Young, and so we see it, uh, in their play. I think with the Buccaneers and the Panthers both fighting for the NFC South, that division, goddamn. But you look at it. Um, I really believe that those are the top two guys. But of course, things could change, but those are my two top guys. I don't see anybody else really doing a better job than them right now, offensively.
All right, what about defensively?
Defensively, it gets a little tricky, but Mm, you got you got Jalen Walker. You got Abdul Carter. He's a lot of people talked about him. Campbell for the Eagles. He's been flying all over the field. He made some big plays, big splash plays early in the season. Kind of cooled down a little bit. You got Carson Swin. I can't say his name, but the Browns linebacker, really physical guy. Showed that he could drop back in coverage and make plays. And then there's also the safety for the Seahawks, Nick Amawari, um, physical guy, rangy. But if I had to pick, I'm going to go with the linebacker from the Browns, Carson. I'm sorry for brushing his name up, but been part of that defense, and of course by that defense being a pretty good damn defense this year. If you're able to get in that defense, make plays, and stand out on a good defense, um, to me that deserves some recognition for you to be the defensive rookie of the year. That Browns defense um, is top three in yards per game. They're around, I think they're top 10 or top 15 in rush defense, and he's been part of that. So they're second in total yards allowed in the NFL. So to be part of that defense, the Browns had a couple swing and misses at defense. Excuse me, at linebacker. They picked a guy from Notre Dame a couple years ago, speedy guy at linebacker. But the only issue was he was inconsistent. This guy has been consistent. He's been available, which is another thing that you need. You had to have availability. But he's been actually pretty consistent, and I think that he'll probably go ahead and probably win Defensive Rookie of the Year.
Yeah. I, as far as offensive rookies of the year, I agree. It's pretty clear cut that Tedero McMillan and Emeka Ibuka have been the top two uh, players. To me, Tedero McMillan looks really good. He looks like he's primed to become a Pro Bowl level receiver next year. Emeka Ibuka, I mean, I think some of it is that he's just in a loaded wide receiver room, so he gets a lot of open looks. But still in all, he makes the best of it. He looks great. He looks like a young Mike Evans, and I think that'll bode well for him, especially being next to Mike Evans right now. So I think that'll help him. But third for offensive rookie of the year, I kind of have Quinshon Judkins. I mean, I know he hasn't run for 1,000 yards or anything like that, but the young man's been really consistent. He has almost 800 rushing yards on the season. I'm looking at his
Hmm.
receiving stats right now. They're not that impressive. I think he has less than 150 receiving yards on the season. But if he can pick that up and get to 200 or so receiving yards, um, I think he can crack 1,000 rushing yards on the season, and he already has um, 8 touchdowns. So I like Quinshon Junkins as my third offensive rookie of the year pick. As far as defensive rookie of the year, number one is easily Schlesinger, the linebacker out of Cleveland. He's been an all pro level tight end his rookie season. You can't deny that. He's been super consistent and helped a lot on a defense that has been phenomenal, even though their offense has been lagging. My number two has been Jahad Campbell, also from Philadelphia. Really good in space, made a lot of big plays, still makes a lot of rookie mistakes, still gets lost a lot in coverage, and gets lost in some of his run fits. But overall, I think he's going to be fine, especially playing next to a lot of those veterans. And to me, my third favorite rookie so far this season has been Will Johnson. And he's clearly the best cornerback from this draft.
Man, don't
He's
even
played
name him, brother.
phenomenally.
Jesus Christ.
Um, and I think he doesn't get enough love because he's been so good that they just don't. He doesn't get a lot of action where he's at, and is unappreciative. But most rookie cornerbacks don't, unless rookie secondary players get a lot of interceptions or get the chance at a lot of interceptions. they don't get a lot of love, and I don't think he get the love that he deserves, even though he's been playing phenomenally this year. You got any other thoughts on offensive rookie of the year, defensive rookie of the year?
No, no, man. Like I said, I agree with
AD, I can't hear you, brother.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, you muted yourself over. Yeah, I can
Sorry about
hear you. Well, it looks like we lost my man AD
Yeah, I'm
again.
sorry. I'm messing with the damn mute button, man. I'm sorry about that. Keep pressing the damn thing is delayed. But if you put a gun to my head, who I think gonna win out of those guys, I think McMillan is gonna win, and I think Carson Swearinger is gonna win for Cleveland for offense and defense. For those that'll be my two picks for to come out with the win for both of those awards.
Okay. Well, I appreciate this topic. I thought we had a pretty good show so far today. And wrapping up, you got any final thoughts on anything we talked about today, AD?
All I can say, guys, is man, the college football playoffs, man, I think is going to be a pretty good one this year. Of course, there's going to be some blowouts, like we already know. But I think overall, this college football playoffs, man, I think is going to be pretty damn good. I also I am picking Georgia to win this whole thing. I think they're just a more talented team, better coaching, better program overall. And I think in terms of in the NFL, the rookie running rate race is going to be exciting to the end.
Personally, my final thoughts on everything. If you're gonna bet it all, ignore the Sheduer Allure. And always remember, people, this is TRS Tuck Rule Sports signing off. Remember to like, comment, subscribe. Thanks. Y'all have a good one.
Peace.
Peace.